Early exchange, shaping policy, advancing development.
Very good morning to you. Welcome to Early Exchange on Souk News Television. I had smiles on my face just before the camera turned on, and a lot of things been going behind. But one of the notable things about today or this week is the fact that we have the Customer Service Week, and it feels like we're bankers, So you could say we're dressed for you. On today's episode of Early Exchange. My name is Temple Barba. I do have my partner in shaping policy and advancing development, Blessing Hitches. Good to be here with you as always.
Stacey, good morning. Yes, we look like bankers because we bank policies. Have you forgotten? And we've all been dressed for the audience. It's all about them. It's all about you because you are very
What
special.
made you opt for sky blue?
I should ask you that because I know you copied me.
Okay, so it's going to be an interesting day, but let's start off the conversation by letting you know that news is making the rounds that the NNPC has increased the price of petrol, premium motor spirit in Nigeria, and there's no official statement to that particular news that's making the round. People just realized that they went to the petrol stations and the prices on the meters and on the boards had been adjusted. What's the price in your area? What do you make out of
Well,
this?
as of yesterday evening, because once that news broke, if you say it's making the round, it seemed like, well, it's not confirmed because the price at petrol stations actually did confirm that there's been an increase in the pump price of premium malt spirit. So, as of yesterday, some stations already were selling. I'm talking about stations that were you really would sell cheap
Yeah.
when price of petrol go up. We had stations like AP and even NNPC stations selling at 998 naira, and some selling a bit around. Okay, I think there was one that was selling 997 naira, but NNPC, I saw that, was selling at 998 naira as of yesterday evening at about say 5:30, 6 p.m. within that period. But I don't know what it is this morning. But news making the round says that they've increased to 1,030 naira per liter, and this is as a result of the deal that didn't go through with NNPC being the exclusive distributor of petrol from Dangote Refinery, meaning that petrol marketers can now directly purchase from Dangote Refinery. Well, if the NNPC is selling at 998 naira from what I saw, and then news making
You can now imagine
1,030 naira, I can't imagine what other fuel stations would sell at. This is one news that Nigerians are really not happy about because we've been talking about inflation in Nigeria on a steady rise, and this is towards the end of the year when commercial activities are supposed to peak. So it's
it's a misnomer.
one that it's actually a misnomer, and it's one that is not very good at this time. I'd say it's ill-timed, actually.
Well, you couldn't have said it any better, but we'll take a look at the Central Bank of Nigeria set to automate foreign exchange trade from December. You heard talked about December. Coincidentally, that's when it's expected that certain trades will pick up. And then, there's a projection, that commercial activities increase. And so the current FX trading system in Nigeria, which is over the counter, the Central Bank of Nigeria intends to automate that foreign exchange trades from December. I can't help but agree more because of trends. You're seeing global trends changing towards digital currency, and of course the impact of information technology affecting all spheres, even the financial sector as well. Something that's very common is the fact that most banks are transiting, to different payment platforms and transaction platforms. Notifications have been sent out to a lot of customers, and I don't know if your bank is also included in that. Are they want to remain a cake?
If my bank wants to remain, that means that they probably will have business at this day and time.
Yeah.
This day and time, because a lot of banks have long transited, even traditional banks now having fintechs and all of that. But for what the central bank intends to do with forex trading, One thing I know it's going to check would be speculation because, hey, if you have a digital transaction or if you have a digital trade, it means that everybody have access to information,
Yeah.
access to the price of Forex. But we're not to totally explore this plan of the CBN alone because we've got with us an expert who would be sharing his knowledge on this and providing insights. And he joins us virtually. TC Barra is in a good mood to welcome him.
The MDCU, Apt Securities and Funds Limited, Kasimu Garba Kurfi. Glad to have you on the program today.
I'm happy to be with you.
Okay, I'd like you to just to confirm the audio is clear and that you heard me clearly. So I'd want you to respond to the pronunciation of your surname. If you could actually reiterate the correct pronunciation.
Well, it's okay. My name is Kasimu Garba Kurfi. I am the CEO of Apt Securities and Fund Limited.
All right, welcome to the program. So let's just get a background on, the automation of foreign exchange trades. Could you bring us up to speed with what used to be and, when the CBN says automating that system, what does it imply?
Well, it's assumed that when the CBN say they are going to automate the system is whereby they will allow the current trend by the banks, particularly the commercial bank, will now be online so that the MMDQ may be stand as a platform to provide for the exchange rate based on the market, just like what obtained in the equity market. Both the buyer and seller go to the market and place their mandate online and you get it. I think that's what the CBN is doing. As regard to the BRD change, I doubt much if they mean automating the system, even including the BRD change. Because one, CBN have given the guideline for the increasing of capitalization of the BRD change. Two, they have classified the BRD change of A and B. And I doubt much if that deadline can be met on or before December. And secondly, if you look at the way and manner the CBN now allot dollars to the BRD change, it's really part of the problem that we're experiencing in the exchange because we are not sure and when will be supplied for. And this brings a lot of uncertainty and that did not help the exchange rate. Because if you look at it today, we are talking of over 1,600. Don't forget it was back as low as 1,100. Now we are talking of 1,600. And if this did not stimulate, it's likely going to continue, and this will not help the economy and will not help anybody.
Why do you feel this plan of the CBN will not help anybody? The CBN wants to stop the purchase or the transaction of Forex over the counter and make it a digital process and also take out the problem of speculation. Don't you think when speculation is taken out from Forex trading, it would help in stabilizing or reflecting the actual price of foreign exchange?
How do you take the speculation out of the market? The only way to avoid the speculation is to be sure of the supply. If let's assume that you said every Thursday or every Monday you can come and bid, let's say for BRD change, that certainty give them the confidence that they know that the dollar will come at that time. And once there is certainty, it kills speculation. Because speculation, they are counting on the fact that nobody knows when it will come. And therefore, let me speculate. But once you establish a system that certainly give the assurance and consistent, it will avoid speculation. Speculation, anytime you hear speculation, is where you are not sure of the supply and you don't know when the supply will be made available. And this is what we are experiencing. From January to date, how many times did the CBN supply dollar to BRD change? They are only doing proactive. When they see the price going up, they now say that Bureau come and take. This will promote speculation. The only way to avoid speculation is be consistent and give them the timing. Even if you are going to do it exchange online automated, will the automated make it available? That is the first question. Because even if you say automated, go online, by the time you go online, you are looking for it, nobody supply. And CBN that's supposed to be the altar supplier did not supply. What will happen? It will bring uncertainty. And once there is uncertainty, the exchange rate continue to rising and the Naira keep on devaluing. So whether you go auto or otherwise, make sure there is consistent and there is certainty and their time frame. Secondly, they are talking of December. Remember, even in those years that you go to CBN and bid for, by the time you enter the second week, to the end of the year, the CBN stop supplying until the new year. Now you are saying this is to start when under a normal situation, normally you stop because most of the people have closed their LCs and most of the company have gone for the Xmas and the new year. Until second week of January, then you open the market. Now you are saying you are opening it in the December. We wait to see when and at what time.
It might just feel that you're kind of a bit pessimistic about the approach of the CBN in its move towards automate foreign exchange trade. But then, if I had to put you on the spot, maybe I would want you to tell me if you're for or against the automation process first and foremost, and if you could give a little bit of insight as to why the CBN may even want to automate the process, because it feels like you're a bit adverse to it in the first instance.
You see, automated process give clarity. And clarity not only to CBN, to all. You know who has it, at what price. That is the beauty of automation. But the automation can only be successful if CBNs tend to play their role. Don't forget, CBN is supposed to be the ultimate. If there is excess supply, they move. If there is excess need, they supply. Unless CBN choose to do that, that will not bring stability. Whether you go automated or otherwise, it will not bring any difference. What makes the difference is for CBN to stand as a supplier in the case of there is excess need, and they can move in the case there is excess supply, and there is consistent and certain that at every time they are there to play their role. If they choose to do that, that will kill speculation. And also if they allow the Bureau to continue bidding, because when you look at it now, our reserve have increased, so we can say that there is more dollars, even though it's not enough, but with the quantum of the dollar with the CBN, they can take care of their Bureau. And don't forget, most of the small investors, they rely much on the Bureau because less documentation. If you go and apply in any bank, you cannot be sure if you get it as window. And most of our people want to travel, want to go and pay the school fee. They find it that they are much better. If they go to Bureau, they can get it instantly. And that is why it dictates more of the price of the exchange than the system. So automation is good, but make sure that when there is automation, and CBN also stand to watch the market. If there is excess demand, they supply. If there is more supply, they will move. And this will bring stability. Once there is exchange stability, you see more foreign exchange, more foreign investors coming to the country, and so many things. Because you must be certain that your exchange rate will not erode you again. But where you are not certain, people stay away. And where people stay away, we will have scarcity of the dollar.
You talked about the bureaucracy that exists with the CBN's laid down procedure for one to have foreign exchange in the country, which the Bureau de Change market takes away. Now, with this automation, where you're seeing those who are selling, you're seeing the prices, will it not make it easier and faster for people to trade Forex and also give an insight into what's going on actually in the markets, where the demands are and where the supplies are coming from?
Well, with the automation, it's very easy by the banks because they have the capacity and they are in the position. And most of the transactions in the bank are auto. But will they be really changed? Are they auto? The question, no. If you want to bring be ready change into them, you need to give them the software that work for them. And who will provide with this? CBN. You need to educate these users to be accompanied with the system and also provide them with the equipment. Because most of these be ready change, if you go to most of these islands, they don't even have computer. How do you auto somebody who is not even in the system? What measures have CBN taken from now to the end of their to see that they provide not only the software, the equipment, and training and retraining of these people to understand how to use the auto? Unless they do that, I don't see that CBN is considering Biridi Chen in this automation. And if you don't consider Biridi Chen in this automation, okay, fine, but you must find timetable for the Biridi Chen, when to come and bid for it. And once that is certain, it will kill speculation. But if they continue with the approach they are doing, they only react. When they see the exchange rate rise, now they call Biridi Chen, come and bid. It doesn't work. And that will encourage more speculation. And that will continue to devalue the Naira.
Okay, so we hear they're calling it the electronic foreign exchange matching system, and it feels as though you think the CBN hasn't done their homework or research properly to ensure that this system, works efficiently and effectively. However, if we take a look at this system, how it's expected to perform, what do you think will be the benefits of this new system if eventually the CBN is able to, get it started and get underway with it?
You see, anything under machine doesn't look at your tribe, doesn't look at your color, it doesn't look at your region. The machine will do what it's supposed to do. And that is the beauty of automation. Once you bid for, you got it. And if this is allowed to work in the foreign exchange, it's a welcome development. But by who? For who? That is the question. You see that bulk of the people go along the street and buy their dollar. And now you are saying automating. And these people, I'm not sure if CBN consider them in the automation. And if CBN have considered the really change and automation, we have not had any training for now. And what is the software? And you need to practice it even before you start implementing it. So when I see the automation, I see it more of the banking rather than the Biridi chain. But if relay is going to involve Biridi chain, then CBN had to do extra work from now to December to see that not only introducing the software, but they equip them with the machine and train and retrain them so that they will be able to know how to operate it.
Test of this automation in November. It's going to be a 2 weeks test, assessing the level of the level at which your members of your association, Bureau de Change Operators, are tech savvy. Do you think 2 weeks test would be sufficient to carry them along? What exactly would you need?
Well, we really need the software and the equipment, because the truth of the matter, a lot of Biridi chain, they do it manually. So you first have to bring them into automating. Give them the software that all their process and everything, it will be auto. So, and these need training, and these need software, and these need equipment. Secondly, look at the number. You are talking of at least 1,000. If you are talking of the banks, today
When you
we have
say
very few banks.
equipment,
You can train
are you
them, but for
expecting that the
you are talking of
CBN would
1,000.
provide the equipment for Bureau de Change operators? Now, we're talking about Forex trade. So if you're automating anything, the first thing you would need is to have a digital device, maybe a computer set. Are those parts of equipment you're expecting that the CBN provide for Bureau de Change operators?
And that is because the capitalization they have at the Bureau de Change is far ahead of the reach of the Bureau de Change. Had it been they had been capitalized, we say they have enough money and they have the equipment and they have the software. Don't forget that the machine cannot do it without the software. The software cannot do it without the training. So you need the machines, which I expect CBN will provide even by soft loan, provide them with the equipment. Secondly, they need a software. And I expect CBN to develop that software. Thirdly, they need trainer and retraining. Don't forget that a lot of the member of the region, they don't use computer in their transactions. Now you want to bring them into the computer. You have to align them with their bank account with the bank and also how to go about it. So all these 2 weeks, I don't know to what extent they have gone, except if they choose not to involve the really change in this training, but 2 weeks definitely sure will be too short.
Okay, let's look at the volatility of the Nigerian naira. Do you think the automation of foreign exchange would affect it?
Well, so many things is working in favor of the foreign exchange. One, the demand. If you go and have your statistics, you see the demand of foreign exchange, we are doing on monthly basis to import a refined product of petroleum, ATK aviation, diesel, petroleum, kerosene, and what have you. By the time you see this quantum, and now that the federal government have decided to sell the crude oil to the Dangote refinery, and Dangote refinery to sell not only PMS, diesel, including aviation. Of course, it's a plus for the economy, and this will reflect even in your ticket you are buying, because majority of the money you are buying for the ticket, you are buying it because of the cost of the aviation. So if those that come to Nigeria will buy the aviation in Naira, it means that your ticket you can pay in Naira and it will be much cheaper. So if we get less demand from this, we believe that CBN have enough dollar to take care for the other demand. And if there is enough to take care of the demand, the speculation will go. And that will bring stability. But you cannot achieve this by dealing with the banks alone. You must deal with the Bureau de Change, because Bureau de Change are the grassroots. I can tell you, if you walk out of your house, you can get one malam and buy dollar from him. If you have your dollar, you want to exchange, you can give him, he can easily give you Naira. So these are the people that are into the grassroots. And most of the people prepare to go to them because they have less documentation to get their dollar and move on with their life. Rather than you go to the bank, they will say, bring this, bring that, bring that. By the time it takes you time to gather all the documents and submit to the bank, the next, they ask you are on the queue.
It feels like, I don't know how to explain how I feel about this, because, we're talking about the dollarization of the economy, and it feels like we're also encouraging the availability of the dollar. I mean, because the dollar is easily available, then, we should not change the status quo. You're talking about the fact that we pay for crude, to pay for petrol, make purchases and imports in the dollar currency. And is that not why the Naira is where it is today?
No, the dollar and the Naira is where it is today because we did not take measures to stabilize the exchange rate. globally, nobody allowed the market dictate the valuation of his currency. If you do that, you will never have stability. So there should have been a policy and insist by CBN to see that they have a stable policy that will give assurance at every point of time you can go and beat. Once there is certainty, I can get dollar every once in a week. That will reduce the devaluation of the naira. But the way we are now today, there is no certainty about that one. And that what make people buy and speculate and buy and hide. And that makes the demand of dollar continuously rising. Secondly, the corruption. Unless you address the corruption, the exchange rate will never be stable. Today, most of the state governors got double of what they were getting before in naira term. But where is the work? Where is the money? Most of this money will just find their way out. And what they were away, they will be exchanged into dollar and taken outside the country. Now that you want to give automation to local government, if the 36 states are not put under control, how can you control 774 local government? So these are the issues.
All right. So the CBN expects that dealers, authorized dealers, would comply with this new policy and actually go through the documentation necessary, the training and everything needed. What has the Association of Bureau de Change done to ensure that they are carried along in this and the CBN is aware of whatever challenge this new system might impose on them? Is there any communication already about this from the Association of Bureau de Change operators to the CBN on this?
Well, they did some training by the EFCC in order to avoid all this illegal money finding their way into the jurisdiction, which is a welcome development. But CBN have already given the capitalization of jurisdiction. If you remember, these capitalization have the time limit of December. I do not know if any jurisdiction were able to meet up that. Because for you to demand 5 billion naira for a jurisdiction, do you think if the jurisdiction have 5 billion naira, they will remain as a jurisdiction? You can gather 1 or 2 and set a microfinance and move on. Don't forget, jurisdiction are just taken to meet up the gaps. All you have is the little money that can buy some exchange and sell. Now, CBN wants you to deposit 5 billion naira. Where will you get it? And despite this, even recently, they call an act to bid, which was done. But come and see. You bid today, you don't get your dollar today. It takes some time. All this, I don't think if we go to automate it, it will be just as you bid, you got it. And if that is what will enhance automation, it's a welcome development for the ready change, because once you get it, you started selling. Don't forget our margin is not more than 1%. So we'll sell and come back. But where you only supply once in 3 months, this will not help the market and will not help the ready change. And I don't see the ready change meeting of the bank CBN minimum capitalization before even December. Talk less of the training unless they choose to continue with us as we are.
Now, we're talking about what the new CBN plan would mean for forex trade in Nigeria, the benefits and the challenges that could come with automation of forex trade in Nigeria. But let's look at forex trade now. For quite some time, it's been observed that there seemed to be an abnormal in terms of the forex rate. Usually, you would get forex cheaper when you buy from the banks than when you buy from bureau de change operators. But for about a week, the rates from the parallel market seem to be lower than rates from the bank. Could you speak to this? What could be the reason?
Well, the reason is very obvious. When you are talking of the rate in our market, is the rate that most of the time we are talking of the physical cash, not transfer. Don't forget, most of the industry, they don't need physical cash. They need electronic transfer to their supplier or through the letter of credit. So the demand is more into the electronic than the physical one. Most of the physical one are people who want to travel, or they want to go to, even within the African country, you want to go to Togo, Benin, Ghana, you need to hold it. And don't forget that for you to be able to do electronic, you must have a dollar account. A majority of the Nigerians, they patronize Bureau de Change because they don't have dollar account. What they have is Naira account. So they withdraw their Naira and go to the Mala and buy their dollar and move on. Even in the banks, you will see that for you to be auto, you need to open dollar account. So majority of the account you see in the banks are more of saving. There is no saving account in dollar. If you are going to open dollar account is currency. So some majority of the people, they don't have this. And these are the challenge. Probably we expect CBN to permit banks maybe to open also other currency in the saving account. That may bring more people into auto. Otherwise, the auto will remain with the dealers because the majority buyer have no accounts. So how do you auto it?
The question was not really at whether or not the transaction should be automated. Usually, when you want to buy Forex and you go to the bank, you would get it cheaper than when you go to the parallel market. The only reason that some persons don't go to the bank is the bureaucracy, which you just talked about now, having a dollar account. But it's been observed for about a week that the dollar is cheaper at the parallel market, which some call the black market, than in the bank. What could you say is the reason for this? Are you getting more supply, or are you opportune to more supply of Forex than the banks?
No, you see, in the parallel market, it's the dictate of demand and supply. If you have your dollar, you need Naira, you have to exchange. By the time you take your dollar to the bank, the rate they will give you, you will prepare to do it in the Bureau de Change. Because the banks also have a different rate when you are having physical cash and when you have electronic transfer. So this is one. Two, the documentation. If you have your dollar here, just walk along the street, get a malam and give him the dollar. He will exchange it and give you your Naira and you move on. This is not that easy in the other banks. And even where you do it, if you give them physical cash, by the time you ask them to do electronic transfer, they say no. This is not electronic money. Therefore, bring it physically, you have to collect it physically. So in view of this, that would make more cheaper, even the parallel market now, than the electronic transfer. And as I have said earlier, there is more demand by the industry who need electronic transfer rather than the physical. So the demand are much more in the electronic rather than the physical. And therefore, where the demand is high, the price goes up.
I was hoping that you could just oppose the situation that you've painted, the inability to access dollar, especially if you want to go through the banking system, and you know how effective it is to access it on the streets. You've recounted that countless times on this program today. I want you to juxtapose that scenario with Nigerians who are abroad, who are in diaspora, who also complain about inaccessibility to the naira. I mean, if you could speak to that and what can be done, because they want to send money home and they say, oh, we don't have access to naira, I don't have access to naira and all that. And here we also, we don't have access to dollar. What can be done, in that regard, if you can just oppose the two scenarios, please?
Well, I believe that most of in diaspora, they have bank account. So for them, we don't have issue with them. The question is that let our banking system accommodate them and enable them to make life easier for them. For the local here, my concern with the local that most of the local, they don't even have dollars account. So how do you relate with the bank when you don't have dollar account? The only thing is that if they will give you physical, at times they may not. So therefore, the easiest was to go to the mala. Give him naira, he give you dollar, and the chapter is closed. And that's what makes it there. And even when CBN now supply, they allowed Malan to do the cash. So there was a limit, but it's still better.
All right, as we go forward, looking at what could help the forex market, all of this that the CBN is doing is to ensure that it controls or it has oversight functions on what happens in forex trade in Nigeria, and also to find a way to help the naira in appreciating against the dollar. We know fundamentally that one of the challenges is the short supply of dollars. But are there any other thing that the CBN could do? Are there other things the CBN could look at to help improve the issue of supply of forex and even forex trade in Nigeria? What could make it easy?
You see, the easiest way is for the CBN to come out to the timetable. That one, at every point of time, you know when to go and bid for the Biridi check. Once that is known, I'm telling you, it brings stability. Because you are sure, every Monday you go and bid and you'll get it. So why should you speculate? But for the other way, they also have to make life easier for the Biridi check. Equip them, provide them with the software, and also train and retrain them to be able to, even the one that they are doing along the street, they can automate it. And that will help the situation. For the automation, nobody is in doubt. As long as CBN will tap in, don't forget that MDQ has been trading, even they are doing the derivative trading, that forward contract on the foreign currency. They do provide it. So what we are saying that these are already on the ground, improve those facilities and ensure there is availability and certainty to it. Once there is certainty, the speculation will kill and the devaluation will stop. It's uncertainty, a lack of availability that bring all this scarcity, and that's what keep on devaluing the naira. This has to be stopped, and by who? By CBN. And if they succeed in doing that, and they train and retrain and supply them with effective software to their Biridi Chinese swap. Today we see how other that simplified transfer, POS, many of the POS, they are not using banking. They are using banks like PAD, money online. And if you see, even the stories say that they have run trillions of naira transactions because they make life easier and so simple and easy. If CBN can apply the some software that will be easy for all and sundry, you will see that it will automatically make people to go into auto rather than going physical. And once there is certainty and there is timetable that supply at so time, it will break this devaluation and it will kill speculation. And once you do that, you will get stability. Once you get stability, everything will go normal.
You just used the example of the POS operators. You know that for the POS machine that they use, it doesn't come free from the banks. Now, if you look at that and what the CBN is trying to do with Forex trade, will the members of your association be willing to purchase the equipment that you would need? After all, it's going to be for your business.
If you look at the POS, most of the machine doesn't cost more than 10,000 naira. What is 10,000 naira in the Nigeria today? If you bring a machine that is cost 10 to 25,000 naira for Biridichen, he will have it. But you now go and bring an equipment that may cost 500,000 or 1 million. Most of these imported computers with high standard, you will see that they did. Don't forget that every operational software of these computers, you have to pay it in dollars. Then the operational system that will enable you to do this, if CBN can provide this to be ready, it's a welcome development, and you will see automation will go with ease.
Just as we're about to wrap up, is there some sort of way that the CBN can ensure transparent and fairness in the pricing within this new system that's putting in place? I mean, you're talking about the software and all that. Can all of those measures ensure that transparency and pricing in pricing?
Well, foreign exchange is not a new thing to us. It was done before, and we had stability for many years without devaluation of the naira. They can look back and apply the same. Once there is certainty and stability will establish. But once there is uncertainty and you only provide Biridichen dollar as when there is crisis, then you are now not proactive. You are rather reactive. When the price goes up, you say, come. That is not the way to do it.
We thank you so much, Kasimu Garba Kurfi, the MDC or APT Securities and
Thank you for
finding time to join in the conversation this morning as we've been looking at CBN's plan to automate Forex trade in Nigeria. I'm very sure that all of your concerns on behalf of members of the Association of Bureau de Change Operators will be taken into consideration by the CBN, even as the Apex Bank plans to implement this new policy. And let's hope that the intended gains are actually achieved at the end of the day.
Early exchange, shaping policy, advancing development.